Students, this will be video 12, so we will continue with National AIDS Control Program. Hope you are going through all the classes. Any doubt, please keep it posted in your class group so your coordinator will inform to me. Okay, so coming on to introduction, human immunodeficiency virus, that is HIV, is a latent virus that belongs to retroviruses group. May cause HIV infection or AIDS. Okay, so this actually belongs to retroviruses group, and this leads to a HIV infection. This virus, human immunodeficiency virus, it leads to HIV infection or AIDS. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome has emerged as one of the most serious public health problem in the country. So we know that AIDS is one of the most public problem which has commenced in the country. In India, after the first case of HIV was detected in Chennai 1986, the first case of HIV was detected in Chennai in the year 1986. The virus spread rapidly across the nation in both urban and rural areas. So this virus, we know that it is present both in urban as well as in the rural areas. And then since then, the HIV epidemic has travelled a long way, establishing itself with the greatest speed in the 6 high prevalent states of Andhra Pradesh. So after it was first case was detected in Chennai 1986, this epidemic also spread in 6 states of the Andhra Pradesh, and then you have Maharashtra, Manipur, Nagaland, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, the other states of Tamil Nadu. So the natural history of HIV epidemic has played out in various forms, from the injecting drug use driven epidemic of the northeast seen in Manipur and Nagaland to the sex work driven epidemic of the south of India. Since every country and every government needs to have a solution to deal with such an issue, the government of India formulated the National AIDS Control Program in 1986. So almost it was found in northeast, and then we see in the south and in the north. Okay, as the disease was spread, there was a necessity of controlling the program. So this AIDS, National AIDS Control Program, was started in the year 1987. Burden of the disease, which will give you, the population that has been affected with the disease. So in 2017, an estimated 37 million people globally were living with the HIV. So globally, when you see, it was 37 people who were living with this disease, which is HIV, and 9.4 million people were not aware that they are living with a potential deadly but treatable disease. In India, there were 21.40 lakhs people living with HIV in 2017. According to National AIDS Control Program, new HIV infection declined by 85% since the peak of 1995 and by 27% between 2010 to 2017. So we see how it got declined. By 1995, it was about 85% of decline was there, and by the year 2010 to 2017, there was decline about 27%. Okay, so from that, so peak of 1995, 85% was a decline, and by 27% between 2010 to 2017. Okay, so this is about the burden disease. We see how many million people were affected, and we also get to see that after this implementation of the control program, we see that there was a decline of the total cases. Next, we will see National AIDS Prevention and Control Policy. So the NAPCP in 2002 announced to bring AIDS transmission at zero level by 2007 with following components. So what were the various components of NACP program? So first one, prevention of further spread of the disease by making the people aware at large. Okay, so they made sure that the disease was prevented, and then control of sexually transmitted disease among sexually active and economically productive groups together with promotion of condom use, a measure of prevention from HIV infection will be most important component of the prevention strategy. So already we have seen that it was spread through the sex social workers. So they also made it mandatory, for the people who were sexually active or economically well doing, so who would go to the sex workers paying money. So the use of condom was emphasized to prevent the disease, to provide an enabling socio-economic environment so the individuals and families affected with AIDS and HIV can manage the problem. So they also gave some socio-economic environment, okay, where they can help themselves. Okay, then improve services for the care of people living with AIDS in times of sickness, both in hospitals and at homes through community health care. So they made sure, that people living with AIDS, PLWA, okay, so that they had good hospital facility and home care through community health care. So community health care was, because AIDS again was a stigma, so teaching had to be given to them, that eating in the same plate or hugging or kissing, actually, not mouth to mouth, but then, so hugging or, kissing or these things actually does not cause AIDS, or, just sitting together, or touching an individual while talking. So all this had to be taught to them. So it was a participation of the community health, in a vital role. Okay, then we get to see next. So these are the 4 national prevention and control policy, or the components. Next we will get to see National AIDS Control Program, NACO. So it was in 1992, is an organization of Government of India under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, with the primary objective to control the epidemic in India. So to control this epidemic in India, we see that in 1992 there was an organization done by the Government of India. So this was done under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, with the primary objective, that is mainly to control the epidemic in India. So NACU also aims at facilitating and improving access to treatment. So it actually aims in giving or providing adequate treatment to the HIV positive people, and then also to promote and protect their human rights. Ever since it is established, NACO has been working to create awareness about HIV or AIDS, giving accurate and reliable information on the menace, clearing existing myths and misconceptions, and providing practical skills that can be implemented at the individual's level so as to lead to behavior changes that minimizes the risk of HIV infection. So we see here that, as I told you, it was also important for them to clarify the myths that they had, like sitting together or eating in the same plate or living in a house together, okay, or normal touch, or then hugging a person. These are things, okay, so that mosquito bite, okay, there was a rumor in between, like mosquito bites causes HIV or AIDS, okay, so all these myths had to be rectified, and that was done. Okay, and the skills that was required to take care. So usually in the hospital, when a HIV patient or AIDS patient gets admitted, we have, a separate contamination bag, red bag. So whatever you use, and usually like PPE, so they wear double mask, or they wear double glove. Okay, apron is given to the nurse who is attending the patient, very careful with the syringes that are used to the patient. So extra skills that is required also has been trained. Okay, next we will see what are the phases of National Control AIDS Program. So talking about the National AIDS Control Program, you see phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4. And then you see the year 92 to 99 was in phase 1. And then again 1999 to 2006, phase 2. Phase 3, 2007 to 2012. Phase 4, 2012 to 2017. So when we say phase 1, during this phase, the National AIDS Control Project was developed for prevention and control of AIDS in the country. So that we know, right? So they wanted to have a control over the widespread of the epidemic. And then general objective of phase 1, the ultimate objective of the project was to slow the spread of HIV, to reduce further morbidity, disease rate or death rate, and the impact of AIDS by initiating a major effect in the prevention of HIV transmission. So they wanted to control, okay, and that is a disease which can lead to morbidity or mortality rate. Okay, and their main role also was to prevent the HIV transmission from one person to another person. Okay, now we will see what are the specific objectives of phase 1. So when we see like the objectives to involve all the states and union territories in developing HIV AIDS preventive activities with a special focus on the major epicenters of the epidemic. So what happens here is we see that there are, the spread happened, though it was first identified in Tamil Nadu. We see how South India as well as North India were infected. So it was important that all the states and union territories cooperation was required in order to carry out with preventive measures. Then to attain a satisfactory level of public awareness of HIV transmission and prevention. So public awareness had to be given how this disease is transmitted and how this disease can be prevented, and then to develop health promotion interventions among risk behavior group. So whoever at our risk, they made sure that it is being, the health is being promoted, okay, and prevention of the disease, to screen all blood units collected for blood transfusion. So we know that HIV is, it spreads through the blood. So checking with the blood group, okay, and checking with the blood transfusion, blood that is being collected. So I think 1.5 years or 2 years before we get to see, or it should be probably 1 year. Okay, in Tamil Nadu there was a case when this pregnant mother, she was anemic, she was, so she was prescribed by the doctor in the PHC to go and have the blood transfusion. So when she had been there, so she was infused with the blood transfusion. So blood was given to her, but later they ruled out that the blood that was given to this lady who was pregnant for about 6 or 7 months, she actually got infected because of the HIV blood that was given to her. And when the history was assessed, actually this blood was donated by a boy who was waiting to go to abroad. Okay, and when he received that he had to undergo medical test, he did go for medical test, in which they ruled out that this boy had HIV. So immediately he went to that blood transfusion center and he blood bank. He said that his blood has got HIV, please do not use that blood. But then the negligence of the blood bank people, they didn't remove that blood, and that same blood was transfused for this pregnant lady. Okay, so blood transfusion, checking all the blood donations that is being done, or blood that is, kept in the bag, has to be tested. Then to decrease the practice of professional blood donations, to develop skills in clinical management, health education and counseling, and psychosocial support to HIV positive person, AIDS patients and their associates. So it is very important also to develop the skill in the clinical management, health education has to be given, counseling and psychosocial support to the HIV positive patients, because they will also be in stress, okay, trauma will be there, okay, and to their associates, to the patients as well as their associates. So when this HIV infection has happened, so what actually happens is, so it might take even 10 years for the development of this AIDS, okay, acute immunodeficiency syndrome. So till then the patient might also, be asymptomatic. Okay, so that's why we see HIV positive person and AIDS patient. So HIV infected person will develop AIDS. Okay, so to strengthen and control of sexually transmitted diseases, to monitor the development of HIV or AIDS epidemic in the country. Okay, so these are all the various objectives of phase 1. Then we will see what are the achievements of phase 1. So awareness levels that were almost insignificant have increased to about 70 to 80% in urban area, even though the level of awareness in rural area remains low at about 30%. So they made sure that awareness was given. So when we see here in urban area, they were able to provide awareness about 70 to 80, but still in rural area it stayed low, that was around or about 30%. Then modernization and strengthening of blood banks. So blood banks, we know that blood transfusion plays a major role, so they made sure that so modernization techniques, and then strengthening of blood banks. So while various techniques, by testing the blood while donation, that has been emphasized here, and then introduction of licensing system of blood banks, and gradual phasing out of professional blood donors. So making sure that with the right person. So usually there are certain criteria that we have to follow. That person should be healthy, okay, and then he shouldn't have drunk, okay, he should not be an alcoholic. If he is alcoholic also, there's certain weeks where he shouldn't have consumed. He should not be a smoker, okay, and then he should not have any chronic illness, or he should not be anemic, he or she, whoever is ready to donate the blood. Then availability of good quality condoms through social marketing has made a significant increase in its use. So they made sure that good quality condoms were used in order to prevent this disease. Okay, so the next video we will carry out with phase 2.